Seraphina Vale drew her very first breath on a humid morning, 11th September 1998, inside a clapboard boathouse stilled over the glass-still waters of Lake Pontchartrain, Louisiana. Her mother, a Zydeco accordionist who tucks pressed jasmine petals behind spare reeds, coaxed a slow waltz that hummed across the cypress knee. Her father, a levee engineer who sketches cloud griffins on cafeteria napkins, bent so near their cheeks graze and promised his daughter that flood tides, rumor tides, and the social ones that ebb and flow with fashion would always shift for any soul that fills her outline without apology. Curves meander through the Vale bloodline like Bayou channels braid through sawgrass, so nobody blinked when baby Seraphina split a second cotton wrap before the sun climbed above the live oak fringe. Granny Hortensky's wink stripped a shrimp fork needle beneath each ripped seam, patched the gaps with fabric clipped from an old parade banner, and laughed that extra cloth cost spare change. But teaching a child to shrink can cost her whole horizons. Elementary classroom smelled of cha, beignet sugar, and marsh wind sneaking under warped windows. Seraphina towered above her desk mates, shading the projector beam whenever she diagrammed compound verbs. One damp recess, two boys hop-skip circles, chanting tug barge every time her sneakers landed on the hop grid squares. That afternoon, she roamed the levee for bottle caps, polished satin by river silt, threaded them on kite string, stitched the jangling ribbon down her teal hoodie, and drifted into class next dawn, scattering prisms across the plaster ceiling. A substitute literacy coach filmed 7 shaky seconds on a pay-as-you-go phone, posted the shimmer to early video hosting, and by lunch, 16,000 strangers applauded the child, who welded ridicule into light. That night, Seraphina penned a pledge in lilac ink along her vocabulary list. Clouds cluster only until you flash them bright enough to scatter. Weekends belonged to Pontchartrain Pier, where her mother's accordion riffs braided with shrimp shack sizzles, the slap of boat holes, and brass bands shaking magnolia petals from balconies. Store-bought jeans quit mid-thigh, so Seraphina traded tip jar quarters for sun-bleached crab net, unraveled it into soft rope, crocheted high-rise culottes, misted pelican silhouettes in squid ink, and posed at sunset against rust-striped bollards while her cousin snapped grainy photos. She dropped each frame into an online diary titled Bayou Lantern the same week a scroll-happy photo app seeped across patchy cell towers. Captions floated between Cajun French slang and plain English truths, such as curves anchor hurricane winds steadier than concrete walls. By her 16th birthday, 51,000 distant hearts tapped the little heart on every caramel light image, proof that screens in far cities drown cafeteria whispers faster than any hall monitor's hush. Scholarship letters put her upriver to the University of Memphis. Daylight dissolved inside logistics labs. Nights belonged to a 24-hour po' boy truck glowing neon, persimmon in a parking lot that smelled of hickory smoke and river fog. The heat lamp became her lone soft box. Between oyster orders, she filmed 90-second reels, twisting parchment into magnolia barrettes while explaining dart rotation in a voice half river hush, half lecture crackle. One clip layered Delta Blues slide guitar over an 808 shuffle while she chain-stitched reflective barge rope into thrift denim. And 48 hours later, the view count slid past 1 million. Southern style blogs dubbed her the po' boy couturier, but every brand email that followed stalled out at size 16. She moved each pitch into a folder, labeled shrinking nets, wiped remoulade off her cuff, and filled another roll. When Turnaround Thunder arrived this spring, she opened an email from Columbia Sportswear. They wanted her to steer a Moisture Wick shell capsule called Bayou Pulse. Seraphina answered with 3 immovable stones. Patterns must grade to 60-inch hips, half the creative crew pulled from community college design programs across the Gulf, and 10% of net profit dedicated to wetlands cypress planting. Columbia signed before the dawn tide. The chute unfurled on a hidden sandbar, where roseate spoonbills painted commas in the morning mist. Seraphina guided curvy paddleboarders across mere water while a drone carved lazy spirals overhead. When the lookbook dropped, every extended size shell disappeared in 41 hours across 26 countries. Bayou Lantern vaulted beyond 700,000 followers. Insane. Still smelling of fried green tomatoes, she ducked behind flour sacks, balanced her phone on a pickle bucket, and live-streamed tear-bright thanks beneath humming fluorescence. First, pulse of invitation. If this story has already warmed your ribs, Tap that subscribe button right now. One fingertip switch plants you on the boat so the next adventure streams onto your screen before the algorithm sweeps it away. Spotlight glare always breeds rumor egrets. A gossip vlog swore Seraphina cinched carbon plates round her waist beneath those Columbia shells. At dawn, she paddled a pirogue into the mirror-flat canal, stood tall in sports bra and linen shorts, traced every stretch mark with crushed bougainvillea pigment, and blew a 4-bar accordion growl that made the water tremble. 10 million viewers reposted the clip under the tag Bougainvillea Proof, dusting pink powder on their own lines until gossip wilted like wilted okra. Truck wages and castle royalties submerge into Wild Heart Glow, a whipped custard swirling cane syrup butter, pecan shore oil, and mica sparks that shimmer pearl under phone light. 19,000 tins cooled on her father's workbench, lids tied with braided trot line. Each label stamped Moisturize Your Horizon. Inventory drained in 82 minutes, raising $199,000. 20% launch beacon grants that seed industrial surgers and waterproof field recorders into plus-size teens fashion programs from Homa to Huntsville. Within 8 months, 36 grant winners staged a floating fashion show atop a retro shrimp trawler strung with LED cypress leaves, live streamed to dawn watchers from Seoul to Sao Paulo. New Orleans Fashion Week minted dockside legend when a backstage blower carved a diagonal gash through her emerald mesh gown with 90 seconds to curtain. Seraphina whipped neon tie-down off a stage crate, laced the rip like boot hooks, and strode the runway as though the splice had lived in every sketch. Camera shutters cracked like crawfish shells. Vogue Delta christened the Save Rope cadence, and another million lantern readers hit follow before second-line horns paraded out the exit doors. Tempest winds tried once more when a former liaison leaked chopped emails claiming she demanded alligator cheesecake and chauffeured airboats for her rescue egret, Jubilee. Seraphina responded by publishing the full thread, refillable water urns, etouffee for crew, caption screens for deaf stylists. That month's affiliate money, $136,000, floated straight into biodegradable crab trap pilots along the Terrebonne Marsh. Fans repeated her dockyard mantra, receipts flared brighter than rumor grit, until whispers fell as flat as a drained bayou. Hit Summer Metrics told their own tale: 6.8 million Instagram hearts, 3.3 million short video voyagers, and just over 2 million steady YouTube subscribers, with engagement brushing 10%. Cartier invited her to headline a Topaz Pulse vignette filmed inside the Fresnel lens of Sabine Pass Lighthouse. She signed once. Cartier pledged therapy stipends for shrimp deck crews who survived the last hurricane season. The finished reel, her wrist scattering amber shards across iron ribs, became Cartier's most saved post that quarter. Family studies her kill. Twice a month, she streams Porch Pickup, a live session where her mother's sax makes cypress branches sway. Her father reads cloud haiku, and Seraphina thrift flips denim beneath fairy bulbs. One episode breached 9 million views when Jubilee strutted through powdered sugar and sneezed a plume across the soundboard. A wildlife refuge now sponsors every stream, tagging rehabilitated egrets with solar beacons paid for by Wild Heart Glow. Glow revenue has now sailed beyond $12 million. She leased a retired oyster shucking shed, punched skylights through corrugated tin, and hired furloughed deck hands and design grads to whip custard, knot lids, and dance during mandatory stretch breaks. Packaging experts begged for heat shrink bans. Seraphina repeated her mother's wisdom. Fingerprints keep legend long after robots forget, and rope ties stayed mental health truth threads each feed drop. Marsh Ridge portraits sit beside taco truck selfies labeled same sky, different weather. She shares breath loops recorded in echo tunnels, printable resilience sheets in English and Creole, and sliding scale therapy codes. 118,000 followers credit her honesty as their first safe harbor. Community rides glow under Cushell paint. Hundreds cruise the levee path at dusk wearing Wild Heart Glow on collarbones and LED firefly tassels on spokes. Ticket proceeds fatten beacon grants and erect wheelchair snorkel lifts at spring boils. Beignet stands fry late because cinnamon sales spike 15% on ride nights. Seraphina pedals lead on a vintage cruiser with Jubilee plush strapped into the basket, pausing to tie any rider's loosened lace. She is drafting a memoir called Currents Keep Names, slated for 11 language editions next spring, while a documentary crew follows her dream to convert decommissioned weather buoys into floating maker labs for Bayou high schools. Puma's Y2Way wave lantern sneaker splashes next quarter, threaded with reflective mooring line, cushioned by algae foam, channeling 10% of all revenue into beacon ceilings up and down the Gulf. Second gentle nudge glides by. If your subscribe button still glows red, turn it soft gray this instant. That single tap secures your boarding pass so tomorrow's chapter reaches you first when the algorithm tide changes. After this video lands, wander down to the description. Waiting there, fresh jars of Wild Heart Glow, Quick Lane Beacon grant forms, tonight's porch pickup playlist, and a discreet compass, a research-built bundle of conversation sparks and calm confidence rituals that chart the surest path to real love and the most dependable way to help any woman you meet feel that magnetic pull. Free, door wide open. If the soda cap spine roll cadence gown rescue or Jubilee sugar sneeze coast even one laugh. Hit like, drop your biggest ripple in the comments, and share this voyage with a friend whose sails hang slack. Every curve can redirect currents, every scar refracts moonlight, and the Gulf bows to anyone who plants sturdy boots on the pier and greets tomorrow wide-eyed. Final whisper as the tide slips out. Subscribe now, claim your spot on the rail, and meet me on the next rising swell when another story gleams beyond the breakers and courage calls your name again.